How many people know SODEXO? There's a few in here. So I'm just going to give you a little bit about SODEXO so that the numbers, et cetera, I'll talk about later make a little bit more sense. SODEXO is actually the 18th largest employer in the world. We employ 419,000 people in 80 countries, and we serve 75 million people every single day. In Canada, we have 500 locations for 200 clients. We have 10,000 employees, and we serve over 1 million customers every single day. We do this with on-site services. I hope you enjoyed breakfast this morning because it was provided by SODEXO. So at Queen's University, we do all the food service on campus. At a large pharmaceutical in Toronto, we do everything except make the drugs. We wash the windows, cut the grass, plow the driveways, we run their health center, their janitorial, whatever services are needed so that the client can focus on their core business needs. That's what SODEXO does. We do it with on-site services like we have here. We also have a benefit and rewards program, which is incentive and recognition type programs, and also personal and home care services that we provide actually in your home. I'm the director of IT for SODEXO North America. I'm responsible for all IT in Canada and the field support teams in the US. So diversity and inclusion has been a very big part of what SODEXO does, and we really believe in fostering that equal opportunity for everybody in all of our operations. It became a global imperative in 2008 for SODEXO, and since then we have really been moving strong in this area. In Canada, we focus on 6 dimensions of diversity, including Aboriginal, culture and origins, gender, generations, disabilities, and sexual orientation. So how is SODEXO doing? So in all 6 of these dimensions, SODEXO hires above the national average. And SODEXO did some research on gender balanced teams recently. It's really worth looking into. It's outstanding. But that's not why I'm here today. In 5 out of the 6 dimensions, we hire above the labor pool in all of our operations. And only one is lagging slightly behind that, and that's hiring people with disabilities, and I'm here to change that. One really positive note this year is the number of people in our upper management with disabilities has really increased this year over the national average, which is really, really positive for me and the work we're doing. So I'm going to talk about the business case for SODEXO because it's a very powerful story, and it's one of the reasons we do it. We did a utility analysis with Dr. Catherine Connolly out of McMaster University, and we looked at a number of factors. Dax talked about all the benefits earlier. So we looked at factors such as wages, number of absenteeism, number of time late, hours of training, accommodation costs, turnover, safety incidents, and performing ratings. And we put a number to all of those different factors, and we assessed all of the locations, all of the employees at a couple of our occasions. Now what we found was people in our location 1, people with disabilities provided a 40% increase in value over the general population. At our second unit, we found that 26% increase in value was provided by people with disabilities. Very, very significant numbers. Jamie spoke yesterday about hiring, or the business case for hiring people with disabilities is an old line. So I still believe it's a very important line for us because I'm not sure my 500 hiring managers understand where we should be from the perspective of hiring disabilities. I totally agree with Jamie's message that we need to motivate the team into action. So it is a very, very good business decision. We know there's higher engagement. We know there's lower absenteeism. We know high performance standards are very much part of what they do. We know there's better morale, and we know there's lower turnover. I'm going to talk about the turnover for a bit because the information is eye-opening. So in Canada, it costs us about $15,000 to replace a manager and about $4,000 to replace a frontline employee. Get your calculators out. We replaced 256 managers and 4,314 frontline employees. Anybody do the math? Really quick? That's $21 million in operational impact on SODEXO Canada alone last year. $21 million. And it's not real cost, it's more of an opportunity cost. Where would you prefer your manager spending their time? Driving and building their business or recruiting and hire replacement workers? $21 million. It's very, very important for us. It's very significant numbers. So we have tremendous support from our senior leadership. We're featured in their regular blogs. It's part of our annual incentive plan, but not specifically on D&I is in our annual incentive plan, but not specifically on hiring people with disabilities. So it's certainly something that we need to move forward with. We do have some challenges. We need to train. We need to train our managers on the benefits. We need to train them on those myths out there that we all know run counter to what we're trying to do. We need to encourage people to be honest when completing the self-declaration form, because we can only count them if they complete the form. When you come to SODEXO, you get this big pile of orientation stuff, and you go through all these form after form after form, and you get to this optional one at the end. What are you going to do? I'm tired of filling out this form. I'm not going to do it. We need better strategies for that. So the challenge, we do have 200 clients. I do have 500 hiring managers all across the country, and they're spread really, really far and wide. So SODEXO just launched a new Open Up campaign about educating all of our managers on hiring people with disabilities and the many hidden disabilities that are out there. So how does an IT guy get involved in diversity and inclusion? So my eldest daughter, Jennifer, she works for SODEXO filling our vending machines on the weekends. Jennifer has Down syndrome, and when she was in grade 1 or grade 2, my wife and I went to the school to meet with the teacher. When we got there, Jennifer was in the back of the class, and she was so upset she could hardly speak. So my wife Elaine went up to Jennifer to try and understand what was wrong. So Jennifer finally pointed to her friend Katie, and Katie was sitting at her desk making a green paper chain. Something that Jennifer is totally capable of doing, but she wasn't allowed. She was separated from everybody else. Inclusion is really about letting Jennifer and everybody like her to be themselves and helping them to become all that they can be. So our job in SODEXO is to help everybody become what they can be. So whenever we hire somebody with a disability in SODEXO, we add another link to Jennifer's green chain in the Burlington office. So we're trying to link every SODEXO unit in Canada with Jennifer's green chain. Thank you.